Hello, my name is Isabel Havarden, one of the college captains, and I welcome you to our college. Before we begin this virtual tour, let us humbly and respectfully acknowledge that the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation are the traditional custodians of the land on which we gather today. We recognise that the past cannot be undone, but honest recognition of past injustices can lead to measures and attitudes which will help to rectify the damaging effects for both our Indigenous communities and our wider society.
Hello, my name is Jaden Kaleja, and I invite you as we prepare to enter the powerful space of prayer, to quiet yourself in the presence of the one who knows you, sees you, and loves you. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, Amen. Creator God, as the potter who shapes our world, refine and mold us to be more like you. Help us to accept who we are called to be, as we are each a unique piece of your handcraft.
Come, Holy Spirit, within our college community, and fill each of us with the power to understand one another. Open our hearts, ears, and minds, allowing you to work your wonders through us.
Father, guide us to use the power of your word with authority, to bring joy and breathe life into your people. Remind us to be thankful of Christ's sacrifice on the cross, and led by his perfect example, we may live and serve selflessly.
Lord, we are the work of your hands. Let us be a reflection of your image. Allow us to work alongside one another, as we too have the power to shape your world. Through Christ our Lord. Amen.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
We thought we'd take you on a tour of the school, seeing as you can't be here. So where would you like to go first?
How about the Manor?
I love the Manor.
The Manor is our college cafeteria, where lunch can be served on proper plates and cutlery. Produce from our own garden is also served. It gives the students the ability to sit down and eat at any of the couches and tables and socialise with other fellow students. The Manor includes a TV, an open fireplace, and also the Manor van, which we use at events.
We also use the Manor for some lunchtime karaoke, which is super fun. And now we're going to take you upstairs to Student Services. For us students, Student Services is our one-stop shop for support and guidance. Up here we find a range of staff including 3 psychologists, 2 careers counsellors, and a range of learning support staff that help us with any of our needs. I know that I've done some study skill sessions up here which really helped me in preparing for my exams. And there's also a computer lab that students can utilise.
I had many catch-up lessons up here. It helped me to progress my learning. Now, I'm going to take you downstairs to a new location, the Green. The Green is a fun and fantastic place for the students to sit down and socialise. Many fun activities are held here, including Fridays, barbecues, and also dunking machines, where we are able to dunk our teachers and fellow students in a bucket of water. The Green is decorated by the college's nature and fairy lights, where the students are able to have a relaxing lunch.
Now we're going to take you over to the Science Building, where all the science classes are. At the Science Lab, where our students' passion for science is nurtured and developed. In this Science Lab, it's a free and open space where we not only learn the coursework throughout Year 11 and 12, but we also run practical investigations such as titrations, and there's lab assistants that help out with preparing everything that we need. Science is my favourite subject, and I love doing classes such as physics, biology and chemistry here.
Physics is surely one of my favourite subjects here too. Now, I'm going to take you up to the quarterfinals.
Quatrefoils is the college fine dining restaurant, a fully licensed a la carte training restaurant open 3 evenings per week. Students can undertake commercial cookery or front of house hospitality over the 2 years. They graduate with an internationally recognised qualification. These qualifications are students' entree into their new career in the hospitality industry, an industry that could take them anywhere in the world, and it all starts here.
So, why not book it into the restaurant one evening with your family and try the amazing food and service at our very own restaurant, Quatrefoils.
Okay, this is our baking kitchen, one of 4 state-of-the-art commercial kitchens that we have here at the college. In this baking kitchen, we hold a range of vet subjects such as food technology, hospitality, and we also bake all the foods for the bakery downstairs.
The bakery is also open to all the public and local residents. After the baking course, the students achieve a William Mangler certificate. One of my sisters got that. Now, I'm going to take you to the Japanese garden. The Japanese garden is an open space for the students to socialise with the beautiful and open environment around them.
As you can see on this screen there, we also have a performing arts building where various classes such as vet dance, VCE theatre studies and tech production are held. We also hold an RE music choir where any student from year 11 or 12 can join and be a part of a community of singers or instrument players and get to perform at liturgical events. Now we will head over to the Visual Arts faculty. To your left, you'll see the Visual Arts building, where we hold so many arts classes, including studio art, viscom, RE art, media, and art.
Besides that building, we have the Learning Common. This includes subjects such as sport and rec, health and human development, outdoor ed, applied RE, physical education, and also includes a university room where the students are able to do a first-year uni course under the La Trobe University.
Now we're going to head upstairs to the Learning Common, which is our library. Here is the Learning Common, a nice open space where students can sometimes have English classes and watch films. They can study, read, or access resources that assist their school-assessed coursework. We also have a 3D printer that is industry standard with dual printing heads. There is also an IT bar that you can see there with swinging chairs, and all of this space is managed by welcoming and friendly staff that you can always go to for help.
I must say, I love having classes up here.
Same.
Now, I'm going to take you to the O'Reilly foyer. after Father O'Reilly, who is the founding priest of the Catholic Regional Federation. The red square includes various symbols including the Hail Mary window, a large crucifix, and the Celtic cross, which symbolises where Father O'Reilly originated from. This is a beautiful area for the students to use, which includes sporting facilities that feature 4 multi-purpose courts under a roof space and a big synthetic soccer and footy pitch.
Next to the red square is McGee House for Humanities and Commerce subjects. We wish to thank you for joining us on this virtual college tour, and we really hope you enjoyed.
Thank you for your attention.
It's a broad education and an education for real life, based on Catholic values and a partnership between school, parish and family. As we aim for each student to achieve their best, to realise their dreams for a hope-filled future. Catholic Regional College, 5 campuses, 1 school, 1 faith, a pathway for every student.
Welcome to Catholic Regional College, Sydenham. We've been waiting for you. We are the senior secondary college for the Federation of Catholic Regional Colleges. That's Catholic Regional College St Albans, North Keilor, Caroline Springs, all coming here to Sydenham. And of course there's Melton, which is a 7 to 12 college, but part of our federation at the moment. This college was set up by the Catholic parishioners of this area for the Catholic young people of this area, your children. It was set up 40 years ago with the hope that it would provide the very best Catholic education for senior secondary students. Why have a specialist school? So that we could provide more subjects, more places in more subjects, and specialist teachers with specialist facilities. And that's what we have. Choice like no other. We have more subjects than any other school around us. And we're recognised statewide and nationwide as one of the best providers of vocational education and training programs. That's programs with an additional qualification that work in with the VCE. So you will have every opportunity here, and that's what we believe in. Every student, every pathway. Providing every student with that opportunity to achieve their very best, no matter what their hopes, dreams and aspirations are. So let's meet a few of the people that you will be dealing with when you come to your school here. The first person I'd like to introduce is Chantel Gauci, the Deputy Principal of the college. Hi Chantel.
Hi Brendan.
Chantel is going to introduce you to a couple of other people.
It is now my pleasure to introduce you to the Assistant Principals of Catholic Regional College, Sydenham. Jamie Mason and Jenna Potts. Jamie Mason is the Assistant Principal of Learning and Teaching, and Jenna Potts is the Assistant Principal of Wellbeing and Resilience. An integral part of our college community is the Director of Faith and Mission, Mr. Vince Ianuzzi.
Thanks, Chantel. A part of my role as the Director of Faith and Mission is promoting our Catholicity and giving students and staff opportunities to develop their faith.
And finally, our David O'Brien, Director of Community and Connectedness, and Danny Jaber, Director of Pathways and Engagement. Transition evenings are extremely important at schools, and the reason why they are so important is because families are able to gather information about the education for their child. As a parent, I've been involved in a number of transition programs over the last few years, and I know that when I'm attending these transition programs, I'm looking for information around how is this school going to ensure that my child is happy, safe, and connected. And hopefully through my presentation this evening, you'll be able to receive some of this information. I know that at the college we've made a number of changes that have allowed us to ensure that all of the needs of students can be met, both from feedback and from families and their children. In terms of our children feeling safe, the college has a number of policies that we abide by. These policies have been created by the Melbourne Archdiocese of Catholic Schools, and we have adopted these to ensure that they meet the needs of our students at our college. Our college policies can be found on our college website. Our school is big, but we have ensured that we've implemented a number of reporting stages so that our students are not lost in the system. First of all, students are placed in a home group where there is approximately around 25 students. They meet with a home group tutor approximately 3 times a week and work through looking at how that they're able to engage with their environment and the college community more effectively. The next level is the cluster coordinator, and students then belong to a cluster group. The cluster coordinator works with home group teachers to ensure that they're able to understand the needs of each of the students in their group. Moving on from the cluster coordinator, ensuring that students feel safe in our college community is extremely important, and students are educated about this. The education is based around policies which have been created in conjunction with the Melbourne Archdiocese of Catholic Schools and really target the needs of our college community. We have assistant principals, directors and leadership team members which all stay in communication with each other to ensure that we can target the needs of all of the students. Most importantly, we have a student services precinct at the college. In this student services precinct, we have learning support officers which go into classrooms and work with students with additional needs. We have psychologists, 3 in fact, who work with students who have a variety of wellbeing needs. We have youth workers and cultural workers who provide students with additional support for a variety of reasons. And finally, 2 careers counsellors who are obviously extremely busy for our senior secondary students, ensuring that their pathway requirements are met. It is extremely important that students are able to feel connected to their college community, and we realise that this is difficult coming to a school for only 2 years, and even more difficult because of the environment that these students have faced in the past 2 years. Therefore, we have planned a number of activities to ensure that we can meet the needs of students. First of all, sports is extremely important at the college. We provide students the opportunity to be involved in the SACS sporting competitions that are against a number of other Catholic schools in our area. Last year, we introduced the Athletics Carnival, which was a success, and we will continue to implement across the college. We also hold cluster sports activities once a week, where it's a head-to-head activity competition that students are able to compete and participate in. Arts is also extremely important, and while students have the ability to participate in a variety of subjects, as mentioned by Brendan, we also have a number of extracurricular activities, things like the college production, Arts Week, dance performances and music recitals. Faith is at the centre of everything that we do, and we've had the opportunity, even whilst in lockdown, to ensure that we develop and continue to develop the needs of the students at this school. The Faith Corner is extremely important to many of our students. We have a number of Eucharistic celebrations. Social justice activities are extremely important, with groups of students travelling outside of the college to Osnam House each Thursday. There are faith development opportunities for students, youth days, and obviously our retreats. We also provide a variety of leadership opportunities for our students. We have our Executive 8, which is our core leadership group, some of whom you have met this evening. We have cluster captains, we have cluster sports captains, home group leaders, learning area conveners, and also Federation Friends to aid in the transition of new students. It is extremely important that we provide challenges to our students that complement their learning programs. I think one of the most exciting things that we offer here at Catholic Regional College Sydenham is a variety of trips. These trips have been to places like East Timor, to the Red Centre, to New York and to Italy. And we hope that with the easing of COVID restrictions, that we will see some of these trips go ahead in the next couple of years. We also have a number of subject competitions which we allow students to participate in, demonstrating their passion in a number of different areas. These areas include debating, stock market challenges, and also participating in the Melbourne Show events, things like the cake decorating competition. Obviously, providing a wide variety of opportunities and subjects to students ensures that we're able to cater to the variety of needs of all of the students here at the college. We provide tutoring opportunities to students, not only to ensure that they're able to meet the requirements of their subjects, but also to allow them to be challenged to meet a higher goal for their subject areas. We use a variety of well-researched learning and teaching practices. This includes the Visible Learning Framework from John Hattie, and our lessons are structured in a consistent way so that students know what is expected of them. We have a number of subject-based excursions and incursions to ensure that students understand the concepts being taught to them. Most importantly too, we have a number of ways of celebrating at this college. Obviously, through this celebration, we can continue to ensure that there are opportunities for involvement. Obviously, we have Eucharistic celebrations and masses that ensure that we link to our faith. We have graduations and formals in normal COVID years. We've implemented a program called Friday, which allows students to celebrate on a Friday afternoon. We have dinners where we invite families to participate. And we also have a transition and orientation program which ensures that students are able to be introduced to the college and that they are aware of the requirements of the school before starting the new school year. Even at this age, parent involvement is still extremely important. Parent involvement is important because it provides the opportunity for the college to work with families to ensure the best outcomes for their child. At the college, we have parent information evenings where families can gather information about the requirements of the college for the child, but also gather education and knowledge about the development of the child. We work with families to provide feedback through parent-teacher interviews, but also through our learning management systems sector. This is done in real time to ensure that families can keep up to date with what's going on at the college. We also have the celebration evenings that in a normal COVID year, we ask families to attend.
You've had a chance to see some of our facilities already, and it's going to get even better. Next year, we will spend $11.5 million on the site with an extension to our hall so it becomes Runnels Stadium, and a new 16 classroom building, Sacred Heart House. With 2 levels, upstairs will be mathematics classrooms and downstairs will be religious education classrooms, removing all of the existing portables that we have on site. This is an exciting year ahead and it'll be all open just in time for you to join us.
Opportunity to participate in a Q&A. If you'd like to place your questions in the Q&A section at the bottom of the page, we'll be able to answer those questions for you.
So where to now? Well, we might talk about that while you put in your questions.
Thanks, Brendan. Families have now the opportunity to go to our college website and under the tab of Join Our Community can fill in their online enrolment form under Class of 2024.
The closing date for applications is the 14th of February 2022, and that requires a $250 enrolment fee. However, if you put it in before the 30th of November this year, you'll only pay $200. Offers will be sent out at the start of April 2022.
A reminder that all applications should be endorsed by your Federation principal, and students should ensure that they complete Year 10 successfully.
We really look forward to receiving your applications and to welcoming you here on site, the class of 2024.
So Chantel, do we have any questions?
I think we do. We've started getting some questions into our Q&A, which is always encouraging. I think the first question is, what time does the orientation program finish tomorrow? I'm presuming that that orientation program means the orientation program for all of our VET students who are coming in for the VET program tomorrow. And I think that finishes at approximately around 4 o'clock, but I think we'll be able to confirm that via our college website. And I think students have been provided that information too by their schools. The next question, Brendan, is how do you deal with bullying?
Bullying isn't accepted, and so we work with families. If we know about it, we will take action. One would hope that in a senior secondary context, bullying isn't prominent, but bullying exists everywhere in society, sadly, and it's in every school. We address it straight away when we know about it, and if bullies continue to bully students, then really they shouldn't be in a senior secondary school where it's a post-compulsory education. We believe that students at CRC Sydenham in years 11 and 12 should be focusing on their studies. That should be their focus. And for the majority of students, that is. When they're not focusing on their studies, then they tend not to do very well. And sadly, if they fail, well, we try to find another pathway for them. And usually that's a transition to a workplace or TAFE straight away once they don't complete the VCE or the VCAL. Now, we would hope that most students would be focused, as I said, on their work, and that in a more adult environment, which this college is, that bullying, much like in the workplace, can't occur. It just isn't accepted. The same as in the workplace. These young people, it's the final 2 years of education. So these young people, we are preparing them for when they leave. And that's the beauty of having a senior secondary campus, is this is no longer 7 to 10. They either do the work or they will fail. Senior secondary certificates are actually mandated with the curriculum that we have to offer and deliver by the government. And everything is graded and marked. Now, many students find when they come in at year 11, it's a bit of a shock because they've thought they've been doing pretty well, but at a standard where VCE is a competition between every other student in the state, often the initial results, they drop down, where they might have been thinking they were an A student. By VCE standards, they might be a B or a C. So to get those higher ATARs, they have to work pretty hard. And if you're looking to get an ATAR of 90 plus, there's roughly 3 to 4 hours of homework a night when you're in year 12. And that just doesn't turn on like that. It means preparing yourself in year 11 by getting used to doing that amount of homework each night. And that can be 2 to 3 hours a night. So how do we address bullying? Well, number one, we hope that students are serious about their education and that it won't occur. If they're not serious and they decide to engage in bullying, we do have restorative practices, but we also won't accept bullying as a behaviour in our school.
Thanks, Brendan. And I might hand over the next question also. My daughter is in year 9 and she will be in year 11 in 2023. Do I enrol this year? This is the enrolment.
Yes, this is the enrolment. So year 11 2023 is the class of 2024. They will graduate in 2024 as year 12 students. So yes, this is the enrolment evening for you.
The next two questions are around orientation. So the first one is, how will we find our way to our classes for orientation? If you are a student who is going to be starting here at the college this year, if you don't have access to SECT already, so that you may not have already done or started a subject here at CRC Sydenham, then you will be receiving your information and login details to Sector on the first day here, which is next Monday. When is the VCE orientation? So for this year's cohort of students, our VCE orientation program starts next week on the Monday. It runs for 4 days. We have 2 days of community activities to ensure that students are able to engage with our community, and 2 days where students commence their classes to gather information and also get some homework for the holidays.
So I might add to that, I meet with the 7 to 10 college principals every Wednesday. So that's the principals of CRC St Albans, North Keilor and Caroline Springs, as well as Melton. We all meet together every Wednesday, and the graduations for Year 10 occur, and then the program at Sydenham occurs. So we work in with the calendars for all of the CRCs, so that next year, Year 10 students at the end of the year will spend a week on site here at Sydenham. And that's all coordinated. The first day is a welcome ceremony where the principals of the other colleges bring the cohort of students up here on that first day, and they're introduced to us, and we have a lovely ceremony which is part of our tradition, and they start their 2-year journey with us.
The next question, Brendan, is, do students bring their own computer?
Yes, we have a BYOD program. Our IT staff will support students in putting their devices on the network. Now, we are aware that some of the schools allow you to purchase, or you already have a device. We try and use those. We're not looking for you to buy an additional device. If you already have one through the 7 to 10 college, we try and get you through with that in Year 11 and 12. And we're trying to make things cheaper, including we have a book hire scheme. So we don't give you a book list. If you're doing maths and science, the cost of textbooks were up around $1,100, $1,200 a year, and that was just exorbitant. What we've done is we've purchased the books, we hire them at a cost of $200 a year to each student. If you want to be involved, it's opt-in. There's a $200 bond plus $200 a year, $600 over the 2 years to hire the books, and then give them back to us at the end of the time that you're here. And if they're in good condition, you get your bond back. So we try and make it as cost effective for families as possible. We don't want you to have to buy a whole range of expensive textbooks that you use for 1 year and then have to get another lot. We're happy to have that stock here and loan them, and we can get about 5 years out of the textbook. It pays for itself, and then we roll them over, get the new textbooks for the next group of students. It does save a lot of money, and the same with the IT equipment. If you've got your own device, we're happy for you to continue using that.
I think just in addition to that too, Brendan, is that whilst we have an open slather really for devices, we do have operating systems which we do use at the college to ensure that those technologies are able to link with what we use here. But also as a parent, I know how difficult it is to be able to choose a device if you wanted to buy one. So we have linked with JB Hi-Fi, and they provide a list of devices which would be best suited to our situation. Brendan, is it just the payment form we need to fill out, or is there one online that we can use?
All our enrolments are online, so if you go to the class of 2024, which is under the tab of Join Our Community, you'll find all the information there, and you'll be able to log in and start your online enrolment using the link that's there.
I think there's a number of different questions here about how big is the soccer pitch, and does your school have a soccer area? Can I say that soccer here at the college is extremely big, and we've had a number of big names come out of the college also. I think
now this year we had a big name.
Go on.
Thomas Deng was one of our past students and does come back to the college and does or is in contact with us quite a bit to provide guidance and encouragement to our students here at the college.
For those who don't know, Thomas Deng was the captain of the Australian Olympic team this year. So we're very proud of him and well done to him. But we've also had many other very successful Socceroos that have been in the national squad. So we have a lot of their jumpers in our Sporting Hall of Fame. Soccer is massive here. As far as inter-school sports, sadly COVID's got in the way, but for futsal, for instance, we're going for our 10th consecutive win. We just haven't been able to play that so far because the seasons haven't happened, but next time we do, if we win again, we're the only ones that have won successively over 10 years since the Cup started, and we're looking for that 10th win. And certainly we've won the SACS and state championship for schools with our soccer teams in the past number of years. So very successful. Our soccer pitch isn't FIFA grade or anything like that, but it does the job, and we have huge success, and a number of our students have gone on to play for a number of the Melbourne clubs.
Which is fantastic. The next question is, does the student services area need to be pre-booked? And I think the answer to that is probably it depends on what area you're going to be looking at booking into or seeking assistance from. I know that in terms of the psychologists and also the careers counsellors, often bookings do need to be made in advance because it does get quite busy, especially being at a senior secondary school. And so we do encourage for bookings to be made. And sometimes those areas also instigate meetings with students themselves, also based on information which may come from home group teachers, subject teachers or cluster coordinators.
Our careers staff, we have two dedicated careers staff. Now, not many schools will give you dedicated careers staff. Usually it's a small time fraction of careers. Our careers staff teach one class each and predominantly are there for students and booked up the whole time, and the exceptional careers staff. Same with our psychologists. We have the equivalent of 3 psychologists. There's actually 4 people, but a couple of them are part-time. And so 4 people plus a social worker who are there to support students. In the senior secondary years, as students become adults, they're dealing with more adult problems and issues. And COVID, we know, has caused a huge challenge for young people's mental health. And we try to support students, and that's why we have 3, equivalent of 3 full-time psychologists who are always busy, but you do need to book.
Thanks, Brendan. Just a reminder that there's a few questions coming through in terms of the year of enrolment. So please, if you go to our college website and then under Join Our Community tab, there will be information there for class of 2024 that has all the information there in relation to application forms, the dates that applications need to be in by, and also payments.
So class of 2024, just again, is Year 12 2024. Year 11, 2023. So if you are currently in Year 9, we're talking about you moving into Year 10 next year. Now, being in Year 10 next year, some of you will already be coming here because you've chosen to do a subject on site with us. That could be a VET subject or a VCE subject. Many of the students have chosen that, and it is actually a benefit, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Very much so.
Do you want to talk a little bit about that? The benefits of studying here when you're in Year 10?
I think that in terms of studying here when you're in Year 10, what it enables students to do is create a link to our school and feel more connected to the school environment and also the teachers and our school policies. So therefore, when students start in Year 11, they feel a little bit more comfortable with their surroundings and I think probably succeed at a greater rate.
They do.
Just in terms of the next question, there are questions here around the promotional psychology, accounting and health and human development subjects for Year 10s for next year. For all of those questions, please see your Federation schools as they'll have the information pertaining to the times that the classes start, what time you need to get here, where you'll be meeting your teachers and what time those classes will be finishing. There's some information and questions here around the VET sessions from today. From what I understand, some of those sessions have been recorded, and if not, we can ask our teachers to be able to provide information to you if you email your questions to info@crcs.vic.edu.au. What are the school fees for year 11 and 12?
Okay, so let's talk about our fees. Our fees are around $4,000 a year at the moment, but where families are struggling, we provide fee concessions. All you need to do is talk to us. Money won't get you in, money won't get you out. And we know that many families have found COVID to be quite a struggle. So if you are struggling, we don't want it to stop your child coming to this school, which is already your school. As I said before, this school was set up as the senior secondary, so it should be a smooth transition. If you're on a fee concession or have a healthcare card already, we're working now with our 7 to 10 colleges at North Keilor, St Albans and Caroline Springs. Our finance managers are talking to each other to get ready for those year 10s coming into year 11. We'll do the same for your family. And what that means is we try to look after you with the arrangement that you have in place for your current 7 to 10 college. So money shouldn't get you in, money shouldn't get you out. If money is an issue, all you need to do is talk to us and we will walk with your family. That's really important because no child should miss out on a senior secondary Catholic education because of money. We don't want that to happen. What we want is for them to have the best possible education and to realise their hopes, dreams and aspirations for their pathway. The arrangements of money we can sort out. That's the most important thing, is that those young people get that education and we send them out to start their life full of hope and ready to take on their pathway, whatever that may be it an apprenticeship, TAFE, university or straight into work.
Thanks, Brendan. The next question is, are VET subjects still available? And I'd have to say there we're getting very close to a cut-off in many of those subjects because they've reached their maximum limits. There may be a few small spots here and there, but if you're still interested in undertaking a VET subject, I suggest you speak to your Year 10 coordinators at your Federation school so that they may be able to get in contact with us here at the college to negotiate if there are any spare spaces.
There are 530 Year 9 students in Caroline Springs, North Keilor and St Albans. So this is for 530 families this evening, and many of those families are already choosing to take up a subject here next year. We welcome that, and where we can we'll fit you in if you haven't already opted into that program through your 7 to 10 school.
The next question is, do you have any areas in the college where the students can do their homework or further study after school hours?
We're sitting here in the Learning Common, which is our library, and we have a study hall. Now, the study hall is a quiet space where they have a free period there in study hall. It's got a living room wall, a great big living room wall, so it's a high oxygen environment, good for the brain, and that has a study hall supervisor. It is a silent area and can have up to 200 students at a time in there, but they're all doing their work. It is a quiet, silent area for students to be able to study. It is available after school, and it's also where if students miss out on school assessed coursework, a test for instance, they'll sit it in study hall. And exams are sat in study hall, but study hall is also open for 1 week each of the school holidays. We understand that some children or some young people will be the oldest child in their family, may have a lot of younger siblings and may not have that home that's conducive to them being able to prepare for exams, so they can come in here, and we find it gets quite busy in that September-October holiday period where Year 12 students are preparing for their end of year exams. But it's also open for Year 11 students. So yes, we do. We have a space called Study Hall for individual silent work, and in the Learning Common, our library, students can come and work here in small groups.
I think it's important to note too that many of our key learning areas will hold revision sessions, usually once a week, to assist students who may have a upcoming SAC or students who may be struggling in a particular area, and that just provides additional support to them.
SAC is school assessed coursework. That's like a test within the VCU.
Brendan, our next question is Premier League still offered?
No, we don't have Premier League at 11 and 12. That's only 7 to 10. We have senior sports days and we have weekly sports, so for AFL, girls and boys football, and we were the girls Premier Champions this year, which we're very proud of. So there's those sorts of things, and that happens week on week. So it's a little bit like Premier League, but it's every week and it's seasonal depending on the sport. So there's basketball, netball, hockey,
tennis,
that's right.
Yep.
There's senior sports day as well, where golf is even included in the senior sports day, which is a one-off day. And we tend to do very well at our sport, particularly, as we said, in soccer and more recently in girls AFL, which is great.
Fantastic. The next question is, we currently have sector for CRCCS. How do we access Sydenham sector for VET subjects in 2022? So in terms of the VET subjects for 2022, those students will be given a login, and so will families for sector, so that they can gather information about the assessment tasks and coursework for their subject area, as long as that subject is linked to CRC Sydenham. The next question is it compulsory to take a religion VCE subject at units 1, 2 or 3, 4?
Well, the short answer is religious education is compulsory right through year 11 and 12. It doesn't have to be VCE RE right through. In year 11, students are required to complete a unit of VCE RE. That can be for a semester. Many of our students choose to do Unit 1 and 2, Religion and Society or Texts and Traditions. In Year 12, they can continue on to a Unit 3-4, which is the Year 12 study of religious education, religion and society, or texts and traditions, or students can undertake a non-VCE, a non-scored religious education subject. But religious education is compulsory all the way through. The unscored options include RE music, so being involved in our choir. It might be RE art. It could be looking at contemporary cultures. There's Applied RE, which is the Venturer and Queen Scout Award program, which also gives us an early entry into university and involves community service, environmental projects and doing good in the community, as well as a link with parish. So there's all sorts of options for Year 12 in non-VCE, which tend to run for 3 terms, with 4th term being available for students to undertake private study ready for exams or finishing off their work at the end of the year.
Fantastic. Thank you, Brendan. What language subjects are offered at the college? We do offer Italian to students. Many students do wish to undertake further language subjects, and therefore they usually do that in their own time outside of school hours.
We are a VCE exam centre for most of those languages, so they have the opportunity to sit those language exams here with other students from other schools. We put our hand up to do that because we want our students to be at home here on site when they do those language exams. So if they go to a Saturday school to say do Vietnamese or something, they can sit their exam here for the VCE exams.
Thanks, Brendan. The next question is, I think this is a very interesting question actually because of how complex the school can be, but how many students in the Year 11 and 12 cohort and how many students per class?
Right. So when your year level comes through, at the moment we have 913 students this year in our enrolment. Next year is 940 students. When the class of 2024 arrives in 2023, there will be 980 students, and when they're in Year 12, it will be over 1,000 students. How many in each home group? We have roughly 22 to 25. How many in a class? Well, that's very complex given we have so many classes. Let's talk about Year 12 English. I put extra funding from our income of VET income, so we sell places for VET to other schools. We have 700 students a week coming in from other schools to take up places in our VET programs, and those schools pay for those places. That extra funding we receive, we put directly into hiring additional English teachers. So instead of classes of 27 in Year 12 English, we try to have our classes at around 20, 19 to 20. Now that allows the teachers to give more time to each student and to provide that additional support, and English benefits every subject. So that's a benefit for everyone. We try to run subjects where a student has chosen it in Year 11 and then chooses it as a Unit 3-4 subject in Year 12, even if they're small numbers. This year, International Politics had 5 students in the Year 12 class, whereas a Maths Methods class would be about 25 students. So it will depend on how many students choose the subject, but we make a commitment that if it runs in Year 11, we'll run it in Year 12. And we're able to run smaller classes if there's a subject that might not be as popular, whereas other schools tend not to be able to do that. So that's the benefit of a senior secondary. We don't have to staff the 7 to 10 side of things. We focus solely on those Year 11 and 12 subjects across the VCE and VCAL. Although I might add that for the class of 2024, VCAL will not occur. There will be an applied VCE course. So you can actually do applied VCE, which is applied learning VCE, a little bit like VCAL, but it's for those students who want to go into a trade or into TAFE and don't want to have a scored pathway. That will probably see the majority of our students coming in as unscored students and opting into the scored pathway when the new VCE starts in 2023. We will provide more information on that to you, the parents, and to students, certainly when all of those changes are made. There's been a review of the VCE, the first review it's called by the state government, and so the class that comes in Year 11 in 2023, your children will be the first in the new VCE program. And so there will be a number of options that we'll be able to work through with you. We will learn more about that next year and we'll have all the curriculum in place ready for your arrival.
I think it's important to note too there, Brendan, that because of the sheer size and the way that we conduct ourselves in terms of that VCAL curriculum, we were actually one of the schools that was studied for that Firth report. And so if you wanted to have a read, you'll see us listed there.
Commended, in fact, as one of the exemplar schools in the state.
There you go. In terms of the school uniform, there's a couple of questions there about the school uniform. Moving into Year 11 and 12, there are some changes. One of the changes is that students can wear a blue jumper instead of the maroon jumper, that the school tie changes, and the PE uniform changes. So they're the only changes which occur. It's still the slacks, the dress, the pants, the kilts, the jackets, the blazers, that all remains the same. They're just the changes which occur for our school. And it's because of the fact that each of the Federation schools has a different uniform in terms of the tie and the sports uniform. So when we come together, we create a community.
What we don't allow is the individual hoodies, caps, and other things that might have crept into the 7 to 10 colleges, let's say North Kill or Caroline Springs, what have you. We try and have a community field here, so it's very hard to move from a 7 to 10, make that transition, and we try not to have that parochialism because it causes division. So we try and say, no, we don't accept that, and it's Signum, which is Federation uniform. As far as the PE uniform, you won't have to buy it all. Please don't go out and buy it all up front. If your child is studying a particular course where the PE uniform is required, yes, you will need it, but everyone else won't necessarily need it. We do have an athletics day, but in a senior secondary context, what you wear at the Aths Day tends to be your house colour or cluster, as we call it, and students will find out what house or cluster they are in when they are here for their orientation program in December at the end of Year 10.
Thanks, Brendan. What percentage of graduates pursue higher education?
In fact, it's about 75 to 80% of our students use their ATAR to get into a course. Not all of them require the ATAR, some are folio-based. We have last year over 20-something students that achieved an ATAR of 90 plus. I might add that the league tables that come out at the end of each year Certainly, we advertise our students' achievements, those who achieve 90 plus, the highest ATAR, the ducks, but that doesn't tell the whole story. The ATAR is for those students who want to go into university, and for those students it's critically important. It is required so that you can get entry into university. But that doesn't tell the story about a whole other cohort of students. And when our ATAR results come out for the last 4 or 5 years, all of those students in our senior VCAL program that were looking at trades already had employment via an apprenticeship or full-time employment in their industry, their chosen industry, by the time those results come out. Every student, every pathway is valid. We support every student no matter what their choice, and we don't say one is more important than the other. They are all valid. If your child needs an ATAR, they will have a program where they will be on a track to achieve an ATAR. They have to put in the work, but they will be able to be supported and have a program that allows them to achieve that ATAR if they put in the work. Your child wants to do an apprenticeship, the same applies. We will support them and value their choice with a program that sets them up to achieve that outcome. Every student, every pathway, and they're all equal.
A couple of clarifying questions. First of all, just in relation to the JB Hi-Fi information, that gets emailed out to families with the orientation information, so look out for that. In relation to the VET orientation program tomorrow, students will be coming into the college. They'll be hearing a session from some key speakers at the college and then moving to their particular areas. I would suggest bringing something to write on, a pen, and maybe a device if they have that. Can you explain music performing arts program? I think that in relation to music and the performing arts program, there are a number of different sections within the visual and performing arts area. We have music, which is a VCE subject. We have VET music performance, where students are able to have a more applied approach to their music classes. We have a VET sound tech production, which looks at the behind the scenes cameras, lighting, sound.
Probably the best thing to do is to look at our curriculum handbook, which is also online under class of 2023 at this stage. So you could look at that and we'll have all the information about each class. And then next year, for your year level, we will be running a twilight open evening, we hope, COVID allowing, where we will have it's like a festival of subjects on site. You as parents can come along with your son or daughter, you can tour the school, you can ask questions of the staff, and there will be students here that are studying those courses, and you can ask them what it's like to study. We run this every year. Obviously, this year we haven't had the chance, and it was online, where there was a Q&A session much like this over a series of 7 nights for all the learning areas. We want to be able to go back to having people on site where you can have that engagement, that interaction with our staff and our students and ask those questions yourself, so you can decide what is best for your child with them about what subjects to undertake for their pathway.
In the instance where you were unable to attend a Zoom session or unable to link into the session that was being provided, if you wanted to gather further information, please email info@crcs.vic.edu.au and the college will endeavour to provide your family with further information about that subject area. As Brendan mentioned, there is a course handbook which you can find on our website, and that has a lot of information about some of the subjects that we offer, and that's related to some of the questions which are listed in the Q&A. I think we've come to the end of our questions, Brendan.
So thank you very much for asking the questions. Thank you very much for coming along online tonight. We apologise we couldn't have you here in person. If you would like to still undertake a tour of the college, look out next year. We're going to advertise some dates to allow you and your child to come on site, and we'll run those throughout the year. Probably every month we'll run a tour for families who wish to come on site and see the school. If you're a past student and a parent, we look forward to welcoming you back. I think you'll be amazed at the change, and the building program next year, as you heard before, is going to be quite extensive. just in time for your children to be here with us, the class of 2024. So thank you again and good night.
Thank you.
Below the hailing Southern Cross, we hear the call of Christ to shine, to be a light and hope for all. In God's Spirit strength we find, serve and walk beside each other, to the shadow of the cross, called and gathered to the table, celebrating Christ. Fides quaerens intellectum, they seeking to understand, to know, to love and serve. In faith we seek to understand, to know, to love, to trust and lead a life as Christ's beloved disciples, moving forward courageously. We celebrate our past and present, to a future finding hope, challenge to reach our potential, won for us upon the cross. Fides quaerens intellectum, they seeking to understand, to know, to love and serve. As Christ's body we seek to live the gospel value shown to us, leading with love and compassion, touching heaven, changing earth, strengthened, nourished and encouraged by Christ's body and His blood, to bring mercy, faith and justice to a world in need today. Fides quaerens intellectum, they seeking to understand, to know, to love and serve. Fides quaerens intellectum, they seeking to understand, to know, to love and serve. Below the hailing Southern Cross, we hear the call of Christ to shine, to be a light and hope for all. In God's Spirit strength we find, serve and walk beside each other, through the shadow of the cross, called and gathered to the table, celebrating Christ in us. Fides quaerens intellectum, they seeking to understand, to know, to love and serve. In faith we seek to understand, to know, to love, to trust and lead a life as Christ's beloved disciples, moving forward courageously. We celebrate our past and present, to a future finding hope, challenge to reach our potential, won for us upon the cross. Fides quaerens intellectum, they seeking to understand, to know, to love and serve. As Christ's body we seek to live the gospel value shown to us, leading with love and compassion, touching heaven, changing earth, strengthened, nourished and encouraged by Christ's body and His blood, to bring mercy, faith and justice to our world in need today. Fides quaerens intelligence.